Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another Rugby World Cup qualification matchup between Samoa and Chile. These two sides played just last week and you couldn't split them a draw in that matchup. Now, this is actually an aggregate series, but because of that draw, it means whoever wins this game will qualify for the World Cup in 2027. The loser will have to go through the repechage alongside Namibia, Belgium, and there is another side who I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but there is still plenty of work to do for the loser of this contest. But this game taking place in Chile in front of what is a sold-out crowd of about 28,000 in attendance. It is going to be a massive one. And you know this Chilean side love nothing more than to get the victory. They have had a couple little switches compared to what we saw in last week's lineup. Carrasco in the front row alongside Diego Escobar, who was pretty solid in their number 2 jersey, and he will have to be solid again because the Samoans, everyone is waiting for that big performance from Manu Samoan. We haven't seen it throughout the Pacific Nations Cup, and we didn't really see it last week, although there were moments throughout that second half where they started to find their rhythm. Perhaps that is when we will see Samoa go that little bit stronger in this game. But in the number 8 jersey, Escobar is there. That is Alfonso. So another player to keep an eye out for. Videla and Fernandez, they will be the 19 combination. Videla and also Saavedra in the midfield. And then Ayarza actually is going to transition to the 15 jersey after playing out on the wing for the last contest. In the Samoan lineup, they have also had a few changes. No Christian Leliofano in that number 10 jersey. Instead, Talapusi is going to be there as the starting first 5. Stefani actually did very nicely in that 12 jersey last week, was one of the standouts for the Samoan team. Lolangi Vizinia, important that he is strong under that high ball. Tomasi Alosio also making his way to the starting side. So Samoa is still willing to rotate the squad a little bit, see whether or not they can find a combination that will work and one that can book them that spot through to the 2027 Rugby World Cup. But like I said last week, they were unable to split these two sides, 32-32. Now, that counted as a Samoan home game, but it was taking place in Utah, in the USA, whereas this game, there is a clear home field advantage, and that is for the Chileans, in front of their own crowd. And like I said, it's expected 25,000 plus in attendance for this game in the aggregate series. This could be either a massive moment for this Chilean team, or perhaps it's going to be a long repechage. There are some great sides still in that setup. We have to wait and see how it ends up going. We have got there. Thanks for the stream, man. Says Javier, or Javiera, I should say. Now, I do have to clarify, we are doing the play-by-play commentary because YouTube, if we show any match footage, would take us straight down. But if you are looking to find the actual coverage of the game, Rugby Pass TV seems to be the best bet in terms of being able to watch this game for multiple locations around the world. So if you are wanting to see that actual coverage, that is your best bet of being able to find it. For this game, we have got the eye. Nice to see you cozy in a hoodie after the South African game. Says Carlin, yeah, it was a little bit of a hectic one, to be honest. Just felt like a really long game. The first half, or the first 20 minutes, seemed like it wasn't even part of the same game as we saw by the end result. We have got there Samoa from Johnny Blaze, and also we have got there Vamos Chile, says Rodrigo there, and come on Samoa, says Robert T. And there as well, yeah, massive opportunity for both of these sides to get that qualification. They have been working hard. Of course, both of these sides were actually in the last World Cup taking place in France. Does anyone have a link to watch the game? Says Augustine, if you go to Rugby Pass TV, they should be able to allow you to watch that. Put Rugby Pass TV live and share your screen so we can watch. Well, you could also just go to Rugby Pass TV and watch it without the copyright infringement. Might be the easier way. I haven't found any broadcasters, so yeah, it does seem to be Rugby Pass as the main broadcasting option for this matchup. But we are 5 minutes away from the start of this contest. Off of the bench, some pretty decent options for both of these sides. Looking through at the Samoans, they've got Ray Nuya in that front row replacement, Jonah Ma'u as the 20, and then also Eliza Pita Alofipo, a man who did start the last game, instead getting the chance off the bench for this one. For the Chileans, they have got their starting fullback from last match as their 23 in this game, Game. And then also some pretty handy other options. And later on in the game last week, that was when Chile really did struggle. They needed to find that next gear when Samoa were really starting to bulldoze their way back into the contest. They couldn't quite find it. But early on in the match, Chile were in a very dominant position. So they will want to start quick in front of the home fans here yet again. Rugby Pass doesn't work. It blocks the stream, and when going directly to the match link. Oh, so what country are you in? Out of curiosity, because I'd assume the only reason they have it geographically blocked is because there is another broadcaster in your location. So more than likely, there may be someone else in terms of like a TV broadcast or someone who's supposed to have the licensing to be able to show it. Chile is the best country of Chile, says Carlos there. And Vamos Chile says, Hugo, I'm in Chile. Do you have like what would be the option in South America? What would you normally watch, let's say, a game featuring Argentina? What would be your broadcaster for a match like that? We have got there, it's 9:25 p.m, dark here in Cape Town, and we should still bring in the games. What a weird game. Congrats to the box, says Ruth. And Argentina was fortunate. Their last games are against the final boss at home. Paramount Plus isn't working, neither is Disney Plus. Interesting. So surely they would have an option somewhere in Chile, definitely with this game involving the Chileans, although I'm not too sure what the broadcaster is for Samoa either. I'd assume Sky Sport Pacific in that regard. I'm in Miami, says Augustine. So yeah, for yourself in Miami, I'd like to think that Rugby Pass would work, but Rugby Pass TV only has the live score. Interesting. Is this game on Sky? It is not. It is on Rugby Pass TV here in New Zealand. Could be ESPN. It might be ESPN. And a national TV channel, but none of them is streaming it, only Disney Plus. Do you have Disney Plus then? And Springbok stumped the Pumas, man, they're unstoppable, well done the Mighty Box. Yeah, they started that game a little bit slow, but just found their rhythm. And it was after just making a couple bad decisions that the Box actually kind of kicked it into the next gear. And they were not stopping in that contest. A little bit similar to what we saw from Manu Samoa in the second half of the last contest, when they started to realise that their hopes going through to that Rugby World Cup were starting to dwindle. That is when they started finding that next gear and started really cementing themselves as one of those really dangerous late sides in a matchup. And Chile, they will have to just try and put together an 80-minute performance. To be honest, their gas tank didn't look too bad, even in that second half when they were starting to struggle up against Samoa and that little bit of extra aggression. Like, they still seemed like they were well and truly up for it. I'll go there, Samoa, says Ruth. And ESPN in Chile, says Ben, the Chilean Mari for the broadcasting option. And Chile, which ESPN, Ben? I've circled through all of them and none of them is showing the match, says Javier. And we have got there from Sebastian. I'm not too sure what that says. Unfortunately, I don't know my Spanish, I want to say that would be. Big score, no ill discipline. Yeah, both of these sides have been known to give away a few penalties. In fact, that was one of the big talking points from that first match. I think that 90 seconds away from the start of this one, if they don't get that discipline right, they could find themselves in some real trouble. And whoever gets a yellow card in this game, that could actually be the difference between a win and a loss. I really hope to wake up, see South Africa smash, or I really have to wake up to see South Africa smash Argentina. See, as Highlanders fan, if you want to feel slightly better about that game, I'd recommend watching just the first 20 minutes when no one had scored tries and it was just a kicking battle and 3 points apiece. But yeah, after that, it's just all the way of the South Africans throughout that contest. I do have South Africa number 10 in fantasy though, so I'll take it. He would have got a massive amount of points. Sasha Feinberg, Ngume Zulu in that game managed to get himself 37 points alone. Got the hat-trick, couple try assists, and also got the most points for an individual Springbok player, surpassing Percy Montgomery back up against the Namibians. So certainly had a big contest. And also alongside that, had about 187 metres carried, but who's counting? 150, says Highlanders fan. I have no idea whether that's good or not in fantasy. I'd assume that would have to be right up there, though. They can't do much better than a hat-trick out there on the field, I would think. But we are 20 seconds away from the coverage starting up on Rugby Pass TV for this Rugby World Cup 2027 qualifier. Both of these teams, they have to play well. And whoever steps up in this occasion, whether or not Chile, with this amount of pressure, you just don't know whether or not they will be able to quite handle it. Why don't you like Pollard? I'm disappointed in you. Who said I didn't like Pollard? Just because I praised the guy who scored 37 points doesn't mean that I dislike Andre Pollard. In fact, there were times where I was quite the advocate for Andre Pollard. But I think that the South Africans, they are at the moment in a position where they have a huge amount of depth in that number 10 jersey. And yes, of course, people are going to have their favourites in that 10 role, but I think that all three of them can do the job. You get 15 points per try, says Highlanders fan. Pollard, the midfield general, says Roof there. And Springboks are well and truly levels above the rest of the world. Scarily good, says Johnny Blades. But we see there is a band in the stands in Chile for the 27,000 in attendance for this match. Holy smokes, the Chileans showed up. They absolutely did. When this game was announced that it was in Chile, the tickets were selling like crazy. You know, this is more than what you'd see at most Super Rugby games in New Zealand. This is more than you see at some international games. You see there the Samoans, they are in the huddle. And a lot of passion for this Chilean side. Definitely after they were able to get themselves their first ever qualification for a Rugby World Cup in 2023, beating Canada as well as the US. We have got there, they did very well today. I'm still watching you, says Mohuddin. And also we have got there Pollard, the midfield, and Sasha becoming a legend, says Roof there as well. Hamish, you're looking fab again. Are you keeping warm? It is 9 degrees Celsius in New Zealand, so it isn't too bad overall. We did end up ditching the suit and tie just because it was a bit colder than a hoodie. And Sasha set the bar very high for himself. He needs to keep going, says Sasha. Says Lilia, I should say, rather than Sasha himself. The Samoans pre-match ritual here. The Chileans. The thing is, this was such a loud crowd just before, right? Dead silent when the Samoans are doing the equivalent of their haka. And it just shows the respect that this rugby nation has. Like, it's always interesting to see how sides do react to this sort of thing. But Chile are completely silent. Watching on, there are literally guys with saxophones in the stands. They have stopped blowing them to listen to Samoa here. What do you think they will never let Pollard play again? He will be playing probably next game at Twickenham, I would say. And if he's not, he will be playing at least probably 2 or 3 of the games in November. He will certainly still get opportunities. But at the moment, they've found a little bit of a winning formula. So I don't see them switching it up drastically for that next game. We have got there, he's going to be haunted or hunted by other clubs. He's hot property, but now Samoa. They have finished the pre-match. We've had the national anthems, and we are now ready to go for this World Cup qualification contest between Chile and the Samoans. But do let me know your score predictions, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you think will manage to get themselves the victory here? I think that both of these sides have more than enough potential of being able to win it. Samoa finished the last match better. Chile started that last game with a lot of intent. We have got there, Chile, says Hugo. And there, and just like in the stands, there is a huge amount of Chile across the world. And support for this side. Now just taking some deep breaths. Ayaza, he needs a big game from the 15 jersey. Going head-to-head up against Lolangi Vizinha Saavedra, the man in the number 7 jersey, the captain. There are a few familiar names in this lineup. Someone like a Diego Escobar. Does anyone know how to watch from London? It might be Rugby Pass TV for yourself. I know that is normally the option where there aren't other broadcasters. It's got a Rugby Pass TV, says Robert T. And there as well. And where are you watching this channel? So it is on Rugby Pass TV's website. It's where we can watch it here in New Zealand. And Samoa show your class experience here, although they are missing a bit of that experience as a whole here, the Samoans. Still a very handy side to pie, starting in that number 9 jersey with Martini Talapusi as the 10. So no Christian Liliofano in the starting lineup or off the bench for this matchup due to his injury. But it will be Chile kicking this one off from left to right to get us underway. Luke Pearce will be the referee in charge of this one. The assistant referee is Damien Schneider, who we did see in charge of the last match, and then Bertaza on the other side of the field for this contest. I think they're just making sure that the TMO is all set, ready to go as well. Luke Pearce turns on the clock, and we are now underway for this matchup. Chile versus Samoa for a spot in the Rugby World Cup 2027. Remember what I said yesterday? That will depend on what you said yesterday. And we have got their Samoa showing class experience. Now Samoa, they are also wearing the white strip for this contest, and they are inside of their own 22. Talapusi will kick this one downfield towards the touchline, and it does go into touch, sitting about 30 metres out from the try line. And it will now be the first attacking chance for the Chileans. And Samoa 28, Chile 23. Prediction there from Lilia B. I'm having hot chocolate. I might doze off half time. Let's put matchsticks in my eyes, keep them open. Says Ruth. Now it is Diego Escobar in that number 2 jersey. In front of this type of atmosphere here for Chile, this does not happen too often. An opportunity to qualify for a Rugby World Cup. Samoa managing to drag them down, but now breaking off the back. It will be Alfonso Escobar. Now Videla. Across to the left-hand side. They are currently sitting 35 metres out from the line here, Chile, and they used their back line extremely well last week. So that is exactly what they will look to do again. Videla going in behind Fernandez. Rush defence on Ayarza by the Samoans. Try and turn it into a rolling maul. The crowd starting to get louder. What is the score for the Lions? Last I saw, they were 14-3 down. The Lions up against Cardiff. Now, 45 metres from the line. Again, Videla going to go back across to Fernandez. Now, passing it in behind Chile's back line. Been dangerous once again here in the early stages. Attack and run from Garafulik. As Titi playing for Samoa today. I don't believe so. Not that I can see anyway. I did have the lineups up there for a short amount of time. But no, don't believe so. We have got there Lilia sitting with the score prediction of 33 to Samoa's 23. As the one that Ruth is going with, so she is going in favour of the Chileans. Now 5 metres out from their line, Chile running it forward. And this ball is kicked into touch, not a massive amount of distance on it for Nicholas Saab. But they will still take that one. And Lilia might work, says Ruth. And now, line out throw here for Samoa. They have got Peter Anayasu. Looks like already a little bit of an injury here for the captain, Clement Saavedra. The last thing that they want to do is lose a player within the first couple of minutes of this game. But Samoa now going away to the left-hand side. Attack and run forward from it would have been... Oh, no, penalty in fact. But Abraham Papali, he was actually really strong off the bench. Made the best team win. I just want to see a good effort from the Samoan side. Are you doing the games Friday? If that is the Saturday morning games for us here in New Zealand, then most likely. Looks like Samoa are actually going to call for the shot at the post here after winning the early penalty. Of course, there is no longer the aggregate factor in this contest. It is just about winning. Whoever gets themselves the victory here will go through to that Rugby World Cup in 2027. So Samoa are going to look to add those points as often as they can with this game. May Samoa make the World Cup? If they win it, yes. If they don't win this game, they have to go through the repechage alongside Namibia as well as Belgium. And then there's one other side that I always forget. It might be, is it Uruguay? No, I think Uruguay have already qualified. We have there is the best American prop we might have ever produced. Bummy switch countries, but wish him the best. Says Justin. In fact, I think he was playing in the Pacific Nations Cup earlier on for the Samoans, but that one has missed away to the side. That has made the crowd very happy. We hear the big cheers around the ground. And very quiet out there tonight. I think box supporters are finishing partying, all exhausted now. Says Ruth. Oh. Okay, Luke Pearce just pretty much saying there to the captain, Saavedra, I do not want to challenge 2 minutes into the game. So obviously was asking for a foul play of some sort, maybe against him, as he was injured for half a second. Now big run forward and drop ball from Abraham Papali as it pops free. Chile now with the ball round the halfway line. Kick him behind, attempted by Fernandez. It's going to be charged down by Samoa. Alamano Matunga now getting it into the wide channels. Finds Tomasi Alosio. And when they do in the draw for the Rugby World Cup, it is in December that the draw is going to be done. But of course, once it is, we are going to be doing the video. That is going to be the penalty going against Samoa for in the breakdown. Now Chile. It's going to be a relatively tough kick from here, sitting about 45 metres out, maybe 50 on the angle. And referee taking care of business, says Ruth. Yeah, Luke Pearce, the man in charge of this one. They are calling for the kicking tee. Okay, there's just a bit of communication there. Luke Pearce talking to the Chilean kicker and just asking at what stage with seconds remaining would you like me to tell you? And he said 15 seconds just to give him that little bit more time to be able to line up. But yeah, round the neck from Samoa in the breakdown. I believe that was Michael Curry. Type of infringements that they can avoid Are you going to do games in December? We will still have the games. The URC will be taking place. The Sevens will also be up and running. Looks like the ball's going to be held on the kicking tee by Iceman. It's a little bit of breeze to deal with here in this matchup. Ready to send this one downfield. And he has got a decent amount of distance, and it goes over. Chile lead this contest after the 6 minutes, 3 points to nil. So Samoa deciding to go for the 3 earlier on. They were unsuccessful, whereas Chile have slotted over their first kick with a massive celebration from the crowd. You look tired. You must go sleep after this. I'll get to sleep for about an hour and a half, and then I'm back up for the rest of the day if I do try and get a nap. But yeah, I'll more than likely be up until around 2 a.m. tomorrow morning, so about 18 hours time. Seems like a smart idea, doesn't it? But now nicely taken by the Samoans. They're sitting 25 metres out from the Chilean line. And this is where Samoa have to try and bounce back. I think that they have potential of winning this game if they go for tries rather than threes. I don't think they're going to win a kicking battle up against the Chileans. And a beautiful step there. A quick step and feet coming from Chile, and they've dropped that ball forward. I think Luke Pearce just waiting for the call there to find out whether or not it is going to be a Samoan ball. Oh, knocked into touch. And Hamish, are we impressed by Eben? The GOAT did well. He was very unlucky, Eben Etzebeth, not to get that early try. And, you know, he still had some very good moments, but I think that Ruanoki, again, just showed how much of an underrated member of that line-out he is. You know, getting those important steals. But Eben was causing all sorts of problems too in terms of just making the Argentines panic. I can't believe the Samoans went for a kick. Like they got an established kicker, says Robert T. Yeah, they don't exactly have their frontline players we are used to seeing for Samoa in the bigger competitions. But now breaking off the back, big collision there for Abraham Papali'i. Samoa told to use that one, and Chile told to get out of the breakdown. They've been playing a new 10 every game, although I think the reason for a new 10 this game is because Leliofano, I think, picked up an injury, didn't he, from their last game. But Chile looking for the touchline. Again, the ball was dropped by Samoa, but advantage was over. And it does now mean that Samoa, they decide to take it quickly. Little bit of a step down the short side from, I want to say it was Lolangi Vizinier. I'm back across. Middle of the field, they have got someone who will run absolutely all day. Malani Nanai, they just have to get the ball to him now. Bit of an overlap on the outside here for Samoa. Quick hands, nicely done. Now into the hands of Lolangi Vizinier again. He's got the headgear on for this week. Tupuai with the short ball. Across, Nanai. Going one more pass. A great step from the youngster Stephanie. He had his debut last week. Samoa mustn't leave it too long before hitting their strides. Chile might give them a fright, says Ruth. Oh, a big driving tackle on Nanai. Another offload going into the hands of Talapusi. So down by the captain. An interesting side note, if this game is tied after a few extra time periods, including golden points, Samoa will advance as they are higher up in the world rankings. Currently 15 versus 20. Yeah, although if they leave it that late, Samoa, you could also argue that they don't fully deserve to make it through. You know, they have to take their opportunities when they arise. And heading into golden point up against the Chilean side, who do have the ability of a drop kick as well as a kick at the 3, like, you'd be pretty nervous if you were Manu Samoa heading into that. But now kick downfield from Benjamin Videla. Very nice kick, steeply bouncing. Samoa clean it up inside of their 22 with Tomasi Alosio. It doesn't manage to find touch with it. Now Chile again looking to send this ball high. It has taken a very long time to come down, but Samoa safe underneath it for Tupai. An evening, just got to my B&B after having the privilege to be at Kings Park for the Bot game tonight. What an awesome experience, Electric, says Yuri. Back across to the right-hand side, Michael Curry. 2-man tackle on him. One of them being Pedrero. How are you watching the match? I am watching on Rugby Pass TV. I do see that your name's Railroad Productions NZ, so if you are in New Zealand, then Rugby Pass TV will be your best bet. You just have to have your email. Oh, that was close to the touchline, but nicely claimed by Ayarza. Tries to step Samoa, getting in the breakdown. And they've managed to get the clean steal there. A massive one for Manu Samoa. Already 11 minutes through this contest, and it will continue to go by extremely quickly, with every moment being crucial, but Samoa get penalised again. And why is New Zealand doing so bad this year, says Mohadini? You're talking in the All Blacks, I assume you're saying? I think they're just lacking a bit of consistency. Like, they won up against Australia, but I think the biggest problem that they've got at the moment is even if they win games, people aren't happy. So I don't actually know what the score would be that an All Black supporter who has been ripping into them would actually say, hey, that was a good game of rugby. You know, because that first match up against Argentina, that when they won by 17, that wasn't enough for a lot of people. The match when they were able to beat the Springboks at Eden Park, that wasn't enough because they didn't win comfortably. So I don't know what it is. Maybe 50 points they have to beat Australia by next week if everyone starts to be slightly more accepting of this side. But I think they're in a pretty rough spot at the moment because no one likes anything about them. Because it's got rubbish bin. Says Railroad there. Who won the first test? It was actually a draw, 32 points to 32 between the two sides, which does mean that in the aggregate side of things, no matter what, whoever wins this game goes through to the Rugby World Cup. Little bit of push and shove in the breakdown there too between Chile and Samoa, but they've been told to use it about 15 seconds ago, so it has to get rid of it for Tapai. And down towards the halfway line, they look like a huge knock on from the Samoans. Chile managing to retreat. Lost a lot of meters in the process, but it looks like they're going to continue trying to run this one out. And Samoa very up and down. Don't know which side turns up. The clinical finishing and the poor handling and silly mistakes side. Says Ruth. Now another step just down the wide channel for Domingo Saavedra. And the penalty goes the way of Chile. Side entry coming from Jared Adams and march back 10 for talking back to the referee. He will learn that one pretty quick. What if it's a draw today? Then what happens? Then they go to extra time. And then from there, if it does come down to everything being a draw right up until the end, it means that Samoa will go through on the technicality of being higher ranked in the overall world rankings. Now Chile, this time they have opted to go for a kick towards the corner here. Now last game up against Samoa, they did start well. There is absolutely no denying that. But it is just whether or not they can continue to do that throughout the whole game, rather than just the earlier stages. Currently, they are leading 3-0. Chilean side, they have been coached extremely well. A couple months ago, I would have said Samoa by 30, but right now, not too sure. Honestly, if Samoa get out of this game with a win, they would have done pretty well. Definitely with this one taking place in Chile. Their home leg of the qualification to take place in Utah. Look at there, Chile are full of fight here. Good start. Says Ruth, yeah, they've started in very similar fashion to what we did see in their last match of the World Cup qualifiers up the Samoa, says King Zion. Or Zion, I should say. Now another line-out throw here for Diego Escobar. The crowd starting to chant as well for the Chileans. Breaking off the back. About 30 metres out from the line. There is a knock-on. Ball stolen by Samoa on the short side. They just seem to lack pace. No one really seems to have that explosive speed that can break them through and stop the Chileans from chasing them down. Penalty, this time going the way of Samoa on the halfway line. Tapai, looks like he is going to be passing off to his first five to be able to kick this one towards the touchline. We've had the best of both worlds, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Pretty bizarre, I might say, and then points came in floods. So here's Mornay. Now kicking this one towards the touchline for Martini Talapusi. And now chance for Samoa to get something going. They are currently inside of the opposition 22. Chile are not a side that are easy to get through when it comes to the defensive line. Samoa need to make some great decisions here. Their last game, they could get criticised of rushing it a little bit, trying to create something out of nothing. They just go through the phases. They should be in a good position, work their way towards the try line, and they also just have to hang on to that ball. That was another thing. Oh, but penalty against Samoa right in the breakdown, and they are frustrated here. Seems to be every time, and march back 10 for Alamana Matonga, talking back to Luke Pearce. I think he was genuinely just asking the question of what that was a penalty for, but side entry is the call against the Samoans. They start to get penalised out of this game. We have got there, hi Hamish, just want to say, commiserations to Canada and congratulations to the Red Roses. Rugby's coming home. Says Nick, yeah, big win for the English, 33 points to 13. Hey Hamish and the gang says, big rig, is Namibia missing out on the World Cup? Not necessarily. They are still a part of the repechage, so that is still to come. How would you describe the test match? They had won. How would you describe the test match? They had won. Who are we talking about? Like South Africa, New Zealand? Who are you saying for that had won? We have got there, Jesus Ref likes his whistle, says Robert T. Yeah, Luke Pearce, normally very strict in those breakdowns. You see the Women's Rugby World Cup final. Boy, what a game. Says Big Rig. I did get to see the score updates. I didn't get to watch it play by play, but we will hopefully be able to watch the replay in the near future. 16 minutes into the contest. It is fantastic to see a full stadium in Chile for this match. Already 17 minutes through and still just a 3-point lead for the Chileans, but I would say that they want to get that extended a little bit more than that. Definitely with the amount of penalties that Samoa have been giving away in the most recent times in terms of developing rugby in their countries, which team will benefit more? Taking part in Rugby World Cup 2027? Well, I think that both sides will heavily benefit. Chile seem like they've got some pretty decent support at the moment for their rugby as a whole, so, you know, it would definitely help grow their game. But for Samoa, with the amount of problems that are happening within the Samoan Rugby Union, as well as behind closed doors, like, if they don't make it to 2027's World Cup, I honestly don't see Samoan Rugby continuing for too much longer. Yellow card there for Samoa in the breakdown there. Luke Pearce, he is being brutal to this Manu Samoan team. And now they are going to be down to 14 men on the field. I spoke to a Man United supporter earlier. He was depressed. Man United lost. My Liverpool team lost. But he's happy the box saved the day, says Ruth. Now making his way off the field, it is going to be Abraham Papali'i. Has been sent to the bin. It just goes from bad to worse at the moment. You missed out. It was a great game. Says Big Rig. But that's what happens when they decide to put a World Cup final on at the same time as the Rugby Championship. But it will be nice watching it afterwards. And I know that some people would say, oh, but you know the score. But, you know, there was always going to be roughly that anyway. No matter, like, I wanted to see Canada do well. But at Twickenham, that was the factor that always kept putting me back in favour of English by... I thought England by 15. And they did win by a little bit of a bigger margin than that. I'm an Islander, and I'm ashamed to say I bet a lot of money on Chile at $1.95. Says Brochet there. Yeah, it is going to be a tough road for Samoa in this matchup. They are looking like conceding another 3 points. What's happening with Samoa Rugby? There is almost too much to list just in one live stream. But that kick has gone over, and that is going to now make the score 19 points to nil. Or sorry, sitting 6 points to nil after the 19 minutes. All I'm going to say, though, is the fact that players are opting to play in the NPC in New Zealand rather than playing international rugby tells you everything you need to know about where Samoa Rugby is currently. And it is a massive shame because this is a side that can be great when they get it right. You know, not too long ago, they actually managed to get themselves a big win over the Italians. They are far from that team that they were in that game. Canada did do well. The coaching of England was great, with the exception of the 10 minutes where England got a card. They slowed the ball down and countered all the Canada strategies. Says Big Rig. Now, big collision. Chile currently inside of their own 22. A little bit of a counter-ruck coming from Samoa. Be very careful not to get themselves penalised again, though. Still can't get that Sasha Masterclass out of my mind. Says AJ, and what is your prediction again, Hamish? Well, with this game taking place in Chile, I don't think it's going to be spread by any more than 7. But I haven't seen too much from Samoa as of yet to prove that they are actually going to get close in this game. Oh, loose ball. Now it's a knock on, but the penalty does go the way of Samoa for no clear release coming from Chile. I think that this is where the Samoans have to start kicking for the corner. They do not have an established 10. And yes, it would use up a bit of the yellow card time, but they have to put caution to the wind here, try and get a rolling maul going. They're not going to win this game, and they're not going to make it to the Rugby World Cup with 3-pointers. I can tell you that right now, because Chile are too good at playing that style. In your own words, how do you describe the Springboks test match? Pretty bizarre. And all of a sudden, points of plenty. Yeah, I'd say bizarre was probably a good word for it. Started off slow, and then Springboks in the second half just well and truly managed to fire up. And now that one's going to be kicked into touch. Sitting about 20 metres out from the line. Where can we watch a Rugby Pass TV is your best bet for being able to watch it. Yes, Canada did play well. England had to work for it, says Nick. And this is now where the Samoans will look to try and get some sort of points on the board. They are about 15 metres out from the line here. Now thrown into the front. Uncontested by Chile. And Samoa look to get this rolling more moving forward. They've been told to use it once already. Canada simply could not handle English fireworks and skill. Says Ruth, they're being told to use it again. Off to the left-hand side, Tapai. Big shot coming in on Milani Nanai. So Samoa need to win here to qualify. Same with Chile, both of these sides. Whoever wins this game will qualify for the World Cup. The other side go into the repechage, where you've only got a 25% chance of making your way through to the World Cup competition. Nice step there from Samoa. 10 metres out. Now Tapai, firing it back into the pocket, or at least a little bit further in that direction. Doesn't show it in the highlights though. Poor forwards never get man of the match, says Big Rig. And the Colby blunder probably fired up the Springboks, says Mornay, and that is what we said at the time. I think it actually probably made them more determined, definitely with that yellow card of Malcolm Marks in the mix as well. Now running it for Peter Anea Su, 10 metres from the line for Samoa, currently still with the 14 players on the field. 12 metres out. Tapai. Back across. Chile are doing very well in their structured defence. They aren't leaving massive gaps here. Maybe that is down to the fact that Samoa just don't seem to have that extra tempo or pace on the ball. And now trying the step there was Alamona Motonga, and the penalty against Samoa again for side entry. They need to start going through the gate. Well, they're going to be going home disappointed here. Number 4. That is going to be against Ben Nini. Oh no, in fact, there's a neck roll as well, Luke Pearce has said. It looks like there is already the frustration on the face of Samoa. They are currently down by 6. And it may continue to get worse. AJS, sublime, says Ruth. Just saying about that yellow card for the Samoans. And just, in the breakdown, getting it wrong again, Samoa, for about the 5th time. It would have to be, but Chile, they are looking like a side far above their 20th ranking. I'm kind of sad now, no more Pacific Nations Cup, no more Women's Rugby World Cup, and only one more week of the Rugby Championships, then no more international rugby for a month, says Big Rig. Although, of course, the URC is going to be kicking in, which we are going to be covering on the channel. NPC playoffs as well, we're watching on Rugby Pass TV, just rookie errors, says Robert T. These penalties are unheard of in Tier 1. Samoa just so sloppy at the moment now, kicking downfield. Chile not getting a massive amount of distance on this one for Videla. It bounces back. Samoa, another drop ball. Picked up by Diego Escobar. That is a beautiful offload. And Benjamin Videla scores the try. They may just check this one to make sure that it's going to be all right, but I believe the try is going to stand for the Chileans. And Samoa again are just getting outplayed by this Chilean side here. 24 minutes through. And it is Benjamin Videla does score the try for Chile. Oh, time is off. Okay, I think they are checking this one to see whether or not there was a knock on. And try, says Carlos. And Chile eating Samoa up like cereal. Am I bet looking good? Sorry, also says Brosi, as the stadium packed. It is 28,000 in attendance for this matchup. Okay, backwards off white 9, so that is off Connor Tapai. So it is going to stand as the try. A couple months ago, Samoa were okay at rugby. Now they're plummeting, says AJS. And although last time the Samoans were losing and plucked a draw out of the jaws of defeat, says Big Rig and Samoa 4x V. Many positions, World Rugby has a lot to answer for this, says Rick. I think Samoan Rugby as well have a lot to answer for it. When you see the stuff that's happening behind the scenes for this side, like I said a little bit ago, players choosing to play NPC rugby in New Zealand over international rugby tells you something is very wrong. Now lining up this kick, and does slot it over. Nicely done by Nicholas Saab. And that is now going to make the score after the 25 minutes 13-0 for Chile. It's exactly how they started in the last game up against the Samoans. Yeah, not World Rugby fault because of it's SR corruption, says Baroche there. And yeah, it is a massive shame because, like I said, they've already been demoted on the 7 circuit. They are now considered Division 3. And, you know, it's just going to be one of those ones that Samoa may go from bad to worse over the next couple of years if they can't start to get it going in the right direction. Amen. How's the live stream's been today, says Rugby. It's just been a busy old day, but some hectic rugby that has taken place. That is for sure. Hopefully you have been keeping well and have been enjoying watching those 2 games as well simultaneously. And now, big collision round the halfway line for the Chilean surprise Samoa. We have to shake out their nightmare, says Ruth. And yeah, the fact that they haven't even got Michael Alalatoa in this lineup just seems like a weird choice for Samoa yet again, although I think he may have picked up maybe some sort of injury, playing the ball on the ground, knock on from Samoa as well. It does mean that Chile have got themselves another scrum fee, but there seems to be a real lack of leadership at the moment out there without Michael Alalatoa. Chile. Yeah, just checking it to see whether or not there was a knock on. I see one more look and it is still fine. Videla. He was the man who did score the first try of the match for Chile and certainly will not be the last. The crowd's still loud and proud for this Chilean side. They will love nothing more than to see the side make it through to another World Cup after getting there in 2023. And that game up against the Samoans for 2023's World Cup, we did see Samoa win it comfortably. It's not the case here. We are just having the water break for these 2 sides. Unfortunately, Canada lost today. Sasha made up for it for this in the Springboks game, says Rugby Itch. And yeah, believe it or not, Tim, on that Springboks game, after about 15 minutes when they were struggling, there were people calling for Sasha to get subbed and saying that they needed to take him off. Yeah, if they had, that would have been 37 less points that South Africa would have got for themselves. Samoa sucks too, says Batman. And Hamish, how many games straight up have you done? In terms of hours, I think we're up to about 10 hours of streaming. And this does not look good. An injury here for one of the Samoan players. Okay, I think they're just going to see whether or not the yellow card player can make his way back out onto the field for Samoa, so they will be back to 15. Having an injury here is the last thing that they want. I'm not actually too sure who it is. I think it's Latrell Coing, but I can't guarantee that number just yet. This might even be the youngster, Stefani. They've got their 2031 in the USA will be Manu Samoa's resurgence, and it will be epic. It will either be that, or by then Samoan Rugby will sadly have already dropped. And I hope that's not the case, but, you know, they are a side that sadly have not been able to play as many matches as of late because of problems financially. So, yeah, it is a coin going off, and that is Eliza Pita Alofipo, who will make his way on. Hello, mate, just got back from the pub. Says, pleasure, so hopefully you are doing well. It is I would say Mexican wave, but it's a Chilean wave at the moment. You know, and right around this ground, they were sold out for this matchup, or at least very close to it. A few seats down close, still missing. The weight, 892 kgs for Chile, 894 Samoa. Now kicking behind, attempted here from Nicholas Saul. Bit of a handling error at the back from Lolange Vizinia. But he is known for his long boot and an awkward bouncing one. Nicely controlled with the foot here for Chile's number 10, Fernandez. Now Ayarza. Is that a cross? Actually ends up running into his teammate there, Garafulik. I'm surprised you don't have an afro by now, says Rugby Itch. Yeah, we had to give up on the forfeits for a little bit. They were costing us too much here. It's currently still quite cold here in New Zealand. Gotta love South American passion for the sport, says Baroshia. Yeah, it's fantastic to see the way that they have got behind their side here, but they know how crucial this World Cup could be for Chilean rugby. That one's gone out on the full. So a half by little lifeline here for the Samoans. 29 minutes through in the contest. It is going quickly, and that is the last thing that the Samoans want, because all of a sudden you'll have 10 minutes to play, and they will not want to be down by any more than 7 at that point. A little bit of communication there in the front row between Neasu and also it was Imi Tuanai in that number 3 jersey. Now back across to the right-hand side, Alamanomatonga. Oh, a little bit of a slip and another penalty. Every single breakdown at the moment, Samoa give away a penalty for either a neck roll or side entry. Another neck and show the game, mate, says Rewa. Sadly, we can't, or else we could get taken off of YouTube with a copyright strike and banned for 3 months. Bro, you do well the names. Good on you, G. There's Broche there. Now getting ready to kick this one towards the sideline for the Chileans. But the game is on Rugby Pass TV, Rewa, if you do want to watch it there. It should be free to air depending on where you are in the world, as well as I believe they show the replay on there too. But just ended up slipping there to Pai. The worst possible time. Chile again are going to have themselves their line out. That man in the crowd was pulling the fingers at the camera. That is always nice. Now Diego Escobar ready to throw the ball in for the Chileans. That's nicely taken again. Rolling maul setting up here and an advantage against Samoa yet again. I'm looking to get this one moving forward, but it has gone down now. Samoa, if they are not careful, will find themselves getting another yellow card. Oh, that's a big collision there. And it's another advantage against Samoa here. Now cross kick in behind. Well claimed. Oh, wow, what a shot that is on Lolangi. Visignier, and I think they've forced the ball out of his hands. And they may have just scored that again here, Chile. Geez, these new players are showing their newness, says Robert T. And they had to get 5 new players off the couch, says Broche there. And desde Chile, says Yurko there. But I believe this is going to be the try for the Chileans. They may even be checking for some foul play from the Samoans as well, just to add insult to what is already a pretty injury-ridden side. Okay, they just want to check the grounding. Are you watching the Lions game on the side? Says Yuri. I was keeping an eye on it before, but I did close it once this game did get underway. But at the moment, I do see very close between Cardiff and the Lions. Just a 1 point separating them at this point in time. So it seems like it could be a great thrilling contest going down to the wire. It sounds like there is just a decision being made in terms of whether or not this will count as, first of all, a try and whether or not there is foul play bad enough to get it ruled out. Chile's football team has failed to qualify for the World Cup in 2026. It's a special opportunity for rugby to build an audience, says Gus. So that's a massive shot, and then the grounding. I think that's fine for Riaza. As long as he is in the field of play, I think that is going to be the try for the Chileans. They got players from the warehouse, says Batman. Yeah, we just heard there from the TMO, I'm sorry, I can't listen to you. I think the TMO may be a bit of a language barrier between him and Luke Pierce, who had to repeat himself, saying that he does see it as a try. And that is how it will sit now. 18 points to 0. I don't see any way of Samoa coming back in this game. I know that they did it in the first match, but they had someone like a Michael Alalata, Moana Boys, hard to get a game fit with no action, says Broche there. It's Samoa playing up, says Bad Dog. That's another late comeback from Samoa. Honestly, I don't see it this week. I think that last week, because of having certain players available, it made the difference. This week, most of those players aren't even there. Now ready to kick this one at the post, and it's coming round. It hits it, though, and bounces back out, so that will keep the score currently sitting at 18-0 after the 32 minutes. And while struggling bad year, hopefully they recover soon. But they are just saying about how strong the Chileans have been in this contest, which is true. They have been all over these Samoans, and that was just dumb. They tried to slap it back, Samoa, but it was already uncontested, so it could have been just a nice, easy take and go from there. And Chile gave the referee a DDT and get a red card. Might give Samoa a shot, says Big Rig. Kick down the middle of the field. Samoa taking it again here. Langi Vizinia. I think he was just telling all the Samoan players to retreat. They don't find themselves offside. Los Cóndores, and the penalty now. It's going to be in favour of the Samoans due to a forward pass from Chile. I used to live with two Chileans, my bros. Tough supports, AB's fans and any rugby fans have nothing on Chile. The sport of football, trust me. And we need Samoa in the next Rugby World Cup. So Australia can be lit, says Brosh. And yeah, at the moment it looks like they're going to be heading towards the repechage. And there is absolutely no guarantee that they come out as the top side there. I would almost say that Namibia would be likely to beat them at this current point in time based off what we have seen in recent performances. Now scrum feed here for Samoa. If they want any chance of winning, they have to score before half-time. Or else Chile should be able to just keep on running away. The New Zealand Rugby Union needs to apologise for what they've done to Samoa. Says Fleshin, I hope Samoa fail to qualify so they can sack their rugby board and start fresh. The thing is, I don't know whether or not the budget can allow for it to start fresh, though. I think that if they don't qualify for this World Cup, with the fact that their sevens has also gone down to Division 3, I think they're gone. You know, and we might see Samoa drop to about a probably 30th or 40th ranked side in the world for rugby. It will go straight back to rugby league as the main sport. They will parade like 4 hours before the game singing on the drums. It's just club level. They are fanatics. So here's Bad Dog, and what a shame Samoa can't get their top dogs. That's important in this game. Yeah. And, you know, this could be a whole different Samoan team. They do have a different looking lineup. Now, inside of the 22, Peter Ane Asu. Ready to throw this ball in for Samoa. It is nicely taken. Set piece here, going short side, but again, great tackling coming from Chile. Alamanda Matunga, player who has almost got the most experience out of this whole Samoan side, and he has not got a huge amount of it. And the government using Samoa's rugby funds. Now backline movement here. Breaking through, chance to get close to the line for Eliza Peta Alofipo. 5 metres out from the try line now for Manu Samoa. They need a try before halftime, but Chile have been defensively sound throughout this match. Michael Curry, pick and go. No passion in these newer generations, says Robert T. A bloodbath is on its way, and there is an advantage now in favour of the Samoans. Sitting 35 minutes through. Pick and go again. Alamanda Matunga just short of the try line. Pick and go from Samoa one more time, but Chile still defending it very well. Now backline movement, wide cutout pass. It bounces into the hands out wide, and the try will be scored by Samoa. They get their first of the contest. It will have to be the first of many. I think they might just check that last pass, but it is Milani Nanai does manage to score it. 35th minute of the match. Samoa aren't making it to the World Cup. And the US are they, says Big Rig. Maybe not. And Chile was banned from drinking alcohol at the games in the 70s. They have like 20-foot fences next to the pitch. I'm telling you, it's next level. And while that's something, says Nas Williams. But yeah, just a backline movement for the Samoans. Going with the simple play does at this stage bring the biggest rewards. This game is not over either. Talapusi currently sitting 0 from 1. Off of the kicking D. Let's go Samoa, says Lilia B. Let's go Samoa, says Brosh. And there as well. But now, Talapusi still going to be the important kick here. Does get it over, so making the score now 18 points to the 7. Samoa had the yellow card earlier on in this game. They kind of have to rely on Chile getting one at some point where you see the match. Rugby Pass TV, as where I am able to watch this here in New Zealand. And why are Samoan players playing in the NPC? Can't play for Samoa, no. They can get released for the ABs. Says Fleshin. So the reason that they are playing in the NPC, the likes of a Miracle Whailangi, is because they actually chose it as the better option than playing for Samoan Rugby Union. Unfortunately, the players do not get paid well to play international rugby, and it's actually a more financially stable option to play NPC rugby here in New Zealand. But, you know, you've got Whaialangi. He's one of those guys that could have made a real difference to the way that Samoa have played. And even in the Pacific Nations Cup, the fact that those guys weren't willing to play. We find out if the final ran out of beer too shortly. Says Big Rig, and great crowd for Chile. Yeah, 28,000 or so they were expecting in attendance for this game, and they have certainly showed up in full voice. You know, we're to watch in Australia. It may also be Rugby Pass TV for this one. New advantage. Samoa sacking it early in the rolling maul. Look at there, Samoa at last, says Roof with a try there. South American fans are used to go completely crazy. Still, they do have the advantage. I can't blame New Zealand Rugby Union. World Rugby, says Broche. Now, a little bit of a counter ruck from Alamanda Matonga. Right, the advantage is still in play. Now, passed out wide. It was flat into the wings' hands. Oh, no, they're going back. In fact, it was called as forward. And thanks, says Te Kunga there. Now 2 minutes left in this first half period. Luke Pearce running right back across the field for that rolling maul. Collapse from the Samoans. This is where Chile, again, they have got the option of either going for the 3 points to extend their lead back to the 14 difference, or they can look to go a little bit more attacking and look towards that corner. Try and score just before the end. And Samoa has their best tight air prop in Paul Aloamile and his brother Moses. Above at Steph Francais. Truly world-class front rower, says Rick. Yeah, like, how long has Paul Aloamile, when was his last game for Samoa? I can't even think of when it would have been. I'm going to have a quick look. Was it the World Cup and then he went straight back to overseas? For Samoa, yeah, he's had 22 appearances for Samoa, correct us, August 28th. So I think he did play in that World Cup briefly. Oh, going short side here for Chile. That looks like it might be over the line. They might check for double movement, will they? Okay, Luke Pearce has a big decision to make here. Okay, it is a double movement. So it's not going to be the try, but already another advantage in play against Samoa. And we've got the, I was reading an article about how little the women's international teams make, except the Black Ferns. They all make next to nothing, though England will get a big payday for winning the Women's World Cup. And who says Naz Williams? Yeah, double movement, tried to get back up to his feet there. Diego Escobar on the short side. And crawl his way over the line. And ain't going to score Messi, sorry. Says Bad Dog, but now kicking for the corner again here. Chile, just the 5 seconds remaining. Does seem like they are destined to be able to cross that try line. Get themselves another big moment in this game. And it may almost be enough as well if they were to score again. Rolling maul here. It goes down this time, legally down by the Samoans, as there was a little bit of a loosing of footing for the Chileans. Now 5 meters from the line. Pick and go here again. Have to survive this Chileans onslaught once more. Going to the short side. Couple meters out from the line. They're told to get out of it, Samoa. Another pick and go. 1 meter short. This seems to be the tactic at the moment for Chile, just to go with repeat infringements round the side of the breakdown until they either get themselves the penalty advantage or work their way over the try line for the score. That is 1 meter short. Yet again, that is now about 5 phases in a row that they have just been the 1 meter out from the try line. That one was even closer. Pick and go again from Chile. This is scramble defense and a half from Samoa. Now looking to shift it out wide. Brilliant tackle made, 1-on-1. And now Samoa locking over the ball and winning the penalty. That is a massive moment for the side, and it is Connor Tupai who does end up winning it for Samoa. And way more people at this game than Chile's last football game. Hardly anyone was there. Gosh, Samoa just can't break free. So hard to understand why Samoa fell so far. Okay, I think they are just trying to work out whether or not they are allowed to kick this one dead. Okay, Tupai taps it and kicks it dead. So that will be halftime in this contest now. 18 points to 7. So a pretty handy lead at the moment. Also, we have got there, where was this? He's Bad Dog. Yeah, 18 points to 7. Way that it does currently sit. And this matchup, there was a bit of passion, says Nars Williams. Yeah, they actually showed a little bit of grit there, Samoa, which they have been lacking throughout this first half. Whereas for the Chileans, they have been a consistent ticking, I guess you could almost call them the consistent ticking time bomb of this game. It seems like every time that they get into the Samoan 22, they are on the verge of getting chance of scoring. I just watched it. Uruguay versus Chile, says Godzone. And also, hello, Robert, says Ruth in there as well. Second half, not a mile away from taking place. We will look through at the benches for these two sides here. For the Chileans, they have got their starting fullback from the last match. He is playing as the number 23, Alofipo, already making his way onto the field. That was for Latrell Acoing, who did go down with a bit of an injury. They have also got Jonah Ma'u, could add a bit of impact alongside Ray Nuia. But, you know, it's just not going to be easy. And Chile, in the back of their mind, they will be thinking about the fact that they did concede a lot of points late in the game last week up against the Samoans. In fact, I do just want to check that. What was the halftime score between these two sides last week? Halftime, it was 25-8, and the Samoans managed to find their way back into it. So, at the moment, that split in that game was 17 points. The split in this game is 11. It means that Samoa have well and truly got enough time to be able to work their way back into the game, but it is going to take a massive effort from the Samoan team. We have got there, what date? Was this game? Oh, look. 2 weeks ago, more people at this game, says Godzone. We have got there, it's not right. Is it though the AB's bent over backwards to get those New Zealand qualified players in? They don't like Kiwi players going back the other way, says Fleshin. Although I'm not too sure, which player are you referring to in terms of a Samoan that is playing in New Zealand that has played for the All Blacks that wants to go back to Samoa? Because I know the likes of a Miracle Whailangi, he came out and said he doesn't really, international rugby doesn't interest him at the moment because it's just not the financial option. You know, NPC, you've got that consistent tournament where you play week in, week out, whereas the Pacific Nations Cup, you know, you add that travel side of things. Well, the Samoans, and a lot of the guys just don't have the heart for it. At this point in time, they know that they are going to get slaughtered in these games because they just aren't where they used to be, Samoa. Whereas those guys are the first ones to put their hands up and say, hey, I'm going to play for you when you're in a World Cup. Whereas at this stage for Samoa, they may not even have that World Cup opportunity for those big experienced veterans to come back for. I don't know about passion. Kind of take that back. It's more so the ability. The players we got right now, I blame Samoa Rugby Board, says Robert T. And live now from Chile, says Douglas. An home game for Chile, Godzone played 2 weeks ago. I already know. I know how Chileans are. But do you, if he's just watched the game, surely he's probably not a mile off, for a game that you didn't even know happened. So surely you take his word for it until you learn, and then you can say, hey, look, you might be wrong. But you can't be starting throwing around insults before you've even checked it. See whether or not he's correct. Over there, come on, Samoa time to score now. And Samoa are still in this game, says Robert T. Absolutely. Like I mentioned, they were down by 17 at halftime in the last contest. Oh, mate, we all go like this. We will go like that as well. There we go. And we have got there my bro's word. I don't give a F about anything else except football, says Bad Dog. However, their Samoa are still in this game, says Robert T. So who were they playing? Chile versus Uruguay football. Let's see what we can find out. So I assume it was the game on the 9th of September, or maybe it was the 1-1 score. That game was at the Arena Pantanal. I assume... Oh, no, that's in Brazil. Hang on. We're going to find it. We're going to work it out. 200K a week. 10th of September game. That was at... that one is in Chile for the location. It opened on the 3rd of December, 1938. That is one day after my birthday. Not so much my birth year, though. Chile would smoke New Zealand, Australia, and South Africa. Different caliber football players. Sanchez, 200k a week. And did Argentina not turn up, or did South Africa just play better? Says Kiwi Rob. I think it was a little bit of both in some regards. You know, Argentina did have some great moments throughout that game, but just never really got it going. Yeah, you're right, being Welsh, I understand the world is a small place. Says question. And there too, and come on Samoa, if you lost, you put us down, fight for your survival. Says PO there. But yeah, it is unfortunate that, you know, Fiji have it a little bit as well, but not as bad as the Samoans. The good news about the Fijian players is they are on big money overseas. You know, you look at someone like a Semi Radradra, he's got a French top 14 contract. He's not going to take that away to be able to play an international game for Fiji mid-year. Whereas for these guys that, you know, have only, yeah, I don't know. Samoa's in a tricky place. But then, you know, you read all about what's happening with the Samoan Rugby Union. And, you know, there are problems behind the scenes. There's corruption involved in the game as well. And it just looks like the players don't care. But then that's what happens when, you know, it's similar to what we saw from the Australians in the Rugby World Cup in 2023, how they knew that Eddie Jones was going to be ditching them. So we didn't really see that fight from them because they always say about how why should the players fight for the coach if the coach isn't going to fight for the players. And I feel like at the moment Samoa might have that same mindset of why should they fight for their country in these matches if the rugby board are going to keep on screwing them over. And Chisholm made up afterwards. And how are you, mate? It's been a while. I hope you're well. Amish says Dog Martin, doing very well. Excited to see plenty of matches that are taking place next weekend as well. And also we have got there, who do you bring in if Bowden Barrett is hurt? They'll probably just go Mackenzie 10 and then Ruben Love off the bench. Or maybe even they look at Ruben Love as a starting option of Perth and then still keep Mackenzie as that bench option as well. And we have got there, are they like rolling a dice? So here's Big Rig. We have just seen the one try scored by Malani Nanai. It's the only try that we have seen so far from the Samoans, whereas for Chile, we have seen Ayarza manage to score himself one, and then also Benjamin Vedela managed to score it earlier on in the game too. Chile aren't even that good at soccer. You're talking like someone, or they're talking like they're Argentina or something. Says God Zone. And we have got their roof was funny though, and drop kicked his goal line or own goal next minute. Love play 10 as well as 15. He played a lot of 10 throughout the Super Rugby Pacific season when they were having a couple problems in that department. So yeah, he has got fly half or first five up his sleeve. We see there the penalty count is at the moment 6 penalties against Samoa compared to the 4 against the Chileans. Chile deserve to be included in Super Rugby with at least one team in it, says Boulders and Steel. If it wasn't for that kind of travel side of things, I think that it would certainly be a pretty awesome thing to see, definitely with how they are competing with the Samoan side. We have got there, I live in Latin, blah, blah, blah. That's good to hear, Hamish. Christmas coming soon. Christmas is nearly here. Only 3 months away, which is a bit crazy. I think it's almost less than 100 days, isn't it, till Christmas. I know someone who does do a Christmas countdown, but I don't think they're watching at the moment. I'll go, how many days until Christmas? It's 88 days. It's actually a lot less than 100. It's probably closer to that kind of 95 till New Year's-ish, but year's going too fast. We have got there, well, hope you have a jolly or holly jolly Christmas. And also we have got there, they are Selkman in Super Rugby Americas. And are you doing sevens this season, considering we're only a few weeks away now? We will be covering the sevens on the channel as well. Even though they keep on trying to break the seven circuit, we're still going to be covering it as much as we can. Find an All Blacks rugby ball in your stocking. Says Big Rig. Now just showing some of the highlights though, the Videla try, as well as the one that we did see earlier on from Ayarza too. Second, we'll go like this. At the moment, Chile are the favourites. And howdy doc, says Nars Williams. 11 points difference. 17 points down they were in the last match up against Chile, and they did manage to fight back to 32. I can never get into sevens. I like traditionally hard-hitting rugby union. To be fair, the sevens have some of the biggest hits around. And there's a lot of open play hits too. The ball can come free, and yeah, it's one of those ones that for a start it's a bit different, but once you get into it, it is quite enjoyable. We have got the South American need to play the real man's games, says Doc. So what are the real man's games? It's still September, says Legend. Yeah, 88 days away from the old Christmas Day, eh? Crazy. Almost September. Well, it is September, I should say. Almost October. And Rugby League's 13 on 13, South Americans, lol. And Boomers do all right, says Big Red. They certainly do. Just saying here, for Samoa, no matter what, they need a victories. Still talking about Chile football, no one cares to. Says God's Owner, have you ever thought about trying to interview players and coaches for your channel? It's been a thought. I have interviewed one ex-All Black on the channel, Norm Maxwell. Outside of that, I messaged a whole heap of players a while ago, and pretty much none of them responded. And then the ones that did respond pretty much said they can't because they are locked into like the contracts that say they have to just go through official broadcasters. You know, the likes of interviews with the main news outfits. So it's pretty hard to do just as an independent option. There's a man's game. So here's God's Zone. I wish Brazil, Colombia, Mexico didn't suck at rugby though. And do Chile have a rugby league team? Not that I know of. But that doesn't mean that they don't. And maybe try the Ferns or Ladybox. They probably have loser contracts. However, then All Maxwell lives in Rowini. It's a big spot. I don't know whether that's the same guy. He's in Spain at the moment. World Rugby needs to slip Samoa the World Cup if they string their players together for 2027. They got upset potential. Let's be real. Uruguay and Namibia ain't beating England in the pools, says Robert T. And I'll say Viva Samoa, says Johnny Blaze. And there too, but the second half just about to get underway in this contest. Oh, well, he did live there, says Johnny Blaze. We have got the A, says the What's Up Guys podcast. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. Currently half time, so please don't yell at me for not doing the commentary yet, as we are just waiting for the second half to get back underway in this contest. But hopefully you are doing well. Hopefully you've enjoyed the night of rugby. Christmas in Wales is a piss-up and a bet. There will be snow. There never is in the south. And question, are you doing anything Wednesday night? Wednesday night. What should I be doing Wednesday night, Kiwi Rob? I feel like that's a very specific question, as if something is supposed to be happening on Wednesday night. What's on Wednesday night? Over there, the Red Roses already got their Christmas present, says Big Rig. Now, both sides have made their way back out onto the field. Like this, and like that as well. And good morning, says Bite, welcome in. And also, see you all tomorrow. Any more matches, Hamish, or Sunday resting? So this is the last game that we have got up until around probably Friday or Saturday next week. Samoa have a good team? I would have to say no. They have certainly not got their strongest lineup. They have got hardly any of their players from the last Rugby World Cup. And also, we have the I hope Broncos choke today. Panthers for the W, says Doc. But now 11 points separating these two teams. First game of the cricket season, Black Cats versus Australia. That'll be why it should have rung a bell. It's a T20, isn't it? Between the two teams. Is that one that you are possibly hoping for on the channel, perhaps? 11 points difference. Samoa just trying to fire themselves up here. Samoa will still be in the qualifying. Even if they lose to Chile, they will. They will go through the repechage to face Namibia, as well as... who else is there in that qualifying at the moment. I did have the team that I mentioned, Belgium, as another side. Oh, look at there coming Samoa, and also we have got there no World Cup for Samoa. And also I trained the Chilean National Rugby League team 10 years back, and it's hard to grow the game there. And is it a sellout crowd? It is 28,000 in attendance for this match. I believe it was sold out pretty early on when it was announced that that ball's going to be taken by Samoa right off the get-go. They did have that possession for half a second, but Chile managing to take it back. Red and blue for the Chileans. I'll quickly add to the scoreboard. There we go. Yes and yes, so I don't have to listen to TVNZ commentary. That's why I ask. CS Kiwi Rob, wait, is it the second half? It is now just started for the second half, 30 seconds in. Now a step coming in from Talapusi. Samoa, if they can strike first in this second half, they are right back into this matchup. And Chile, the question will be whether or not their gas tank can go that full 80 minutes. Teach you for being... How did that become... Just because he said about that game that he watched the highlights or whatever, he watched the game live and said that it didn't look like there were that many people. How did it become that now? I feel like everyone just needs to take a bit of a chill pill in the chat for a Sunday morning. Now offload on the outside. Samoa taking a bit of a risk close to the sideline, but somehow staying in the field of play. Hey, Hamish, thanks for your good job. Night, everyone. And 10:35. We have got there no World Cup for Chile either. Ended last, says Mikhail. Now going off to the left-hand side. Ball, little bit of space, bit of a slip there. That was a dumb pass from Samoa again. Sometimes you just watch them play and you wonder how they have got as far as they have. Because that was just the worst possible timing for Samoa. Pretty much waiting until the Chilean player was ready to intercept it to then pass them the ball. Samoa will have to play against Namibia. The repechage if they lose to Chile. Says Boulders and still. Scoreboard still says half time. I think it now says 41. And England Roses are the deserved winners of the Women's World Cup. Also my pick to win the whole tournament, says Mornay Lagrange. Thanks for your good night. Good job. Night, everyone. It's 10:35 p.m. in Cape Town. We'll check in later. Cheers, folks. Now Samoa, again, kicking this one into touch. Okay, I think that Luke Pierce has just given both sides a bit more of a warning, too, about the talking back to him. I hope Samoa get the message. Our halftime, be disciplined, says Robert T. Now, with just the 38 minutes remaining on the clock, this is for a spot at the World Cup, ladies and gentlemen. Chile have been the strongest side. I thought the Red Roses forwards would be too good, says Godzone. And yeah, by the sound of it, they really did muscle up throughout their game up against the Canadians, who have been known for a bit of physicality throughout this Women's World Cup so far. Samoa still have a chance if they don't win. They would go through the repechage, which does make it very difficult to spot around at NPC next week. And I assume that's before the playoffs, right? Now going off to the right-hand side. Now passing it across. Getting dragged down about 38 metres from the try line. Now nice pop pass on the inside. Samoa still making metres. A terrible line-out was saved by that one player, says Robert T. Well, Papali'i dragged down. They just aren't quite getting those metres that they are after here, Samoa. It seems like everything is shifting sideways rather than forward at the moment. And they just don't know what to do, although Tapai almost going through the gap. Chile trying to get the steal. Now a little grubber attempt that goes straight into the hands of Chile. Ayaza now looking to run this one back towards the 22 of the Chileans. What do you think of the English Roses winning the whole tournament? Deserved winners in my book. Yeah, they were favourites from start to finish. Home tournament as well. I think it would have been more of a surprise if they hadn't. You're not making your Chilean bros look good, mate. Chill, says Mikhail there. If these Irish don't back Latino Cruz, what are you on about? The only thing that I think of when you say cruise is like rowing. Or like the yacht race, like America's Cup. It's the only crew that I can think of. Now, round the halfway line, Samoa still with the ball. Tapai lost a bit of ground at the moment. Back across to the left again. And it's a round ball, says Doc. Over there, not Chile, they don't associate me to them just because I live with them. I'm me. Says Bad Dog, well, you need to settle down. But now sitting around the halfway line. Pai. Oh, being told to not trap the Chilean players. The Black Ferns would have given the Red Roses a better game. Pity they played bad against Canada. Yeah, that was just their off game, wasn't it? And they did look a lot stronger up against the French, although they let the French back into that game in the second half. Now going up for that ball. It's going to be knocked back by Chile. Ayarza now managing to break the line again. A big clean out. The breakdown from Diego Escobar. Numbers to the right-hand side. The advantage for the original knock-on is over. And now starting to get the draw bars going. Beautifully handled. Out wide and another offload on the inside. Another offload. This is all that Chile want to be able to do. Just keep on moving that ball around. And we have got their Black Ferns look great for 60 minutes. Then they had a little sleep. Says Big Red. Well, sorry, says Big Rig, I should say. Now passing off to the side. Now shoveling it on. Now big run from Ben Nini. Now looking for the cross kick. Looking for chance of a 50-22. I think it might have been inside. So taken back and won't be the 50-22, but it is still going to be the 5-metre line out. Players like Miracle Whailangi, Theo McFarlane, Famai, Danny Tuala, Iritana Inari, Jonathan Tabatine, Duncan Paiaua, Lalo Milo, and newcomers Umanga Jensen brothers, Julian Savia. Says Layden, yeah, there is a long list of players who could be playing for the Samoans, but are not. We have got their Black Ferns look great for 60 minutes. They had a little sleep. I reckon Ferns would have put on a better fight, says Robert T. Oh, Seven has been told to stand up, wanting to get a little bit of a spell in there with Saavedra. He is still struggling a little bit at the moment. Gas tank starting to get drained throughout this contest. It has been a fast tempo to start off this second half. What are you watching the game on? It is on Rugby Pass TV for me here in New Zealand. Now breaking off the back, Chile. Back down just out from their goal line. And England would have beat the Ferns, though, in my opinion, says Robert T. They may have still beaten them, but it could have maybe found itself being a little bit closer. But it's very hard to say, because if the Black Ferns played like they did up against Canada, then they would have gotten beaten, I would say, worse than the Canadians did. You could just let it go, Bad Dog. I feel like you've made the whole chat for the last 20 minutes just a bit of a misery. You know, he made one comment. Whether you agree with it or not, you could have just said, I disagree, and you could have moved on. But instead, you've gone yapper, and gone on about it. And it's just a bit petty. Just get over it. We have got there all nice to have a final. That isn't New Zealand versus England for a change, says Big Rig Joe. Yeah, it is a nice change to have some sort of little mash-up and some sort of different matchups as well. It's a lie, so just say it was a lie and get over it. Life's too short. You know, just move on. It's much easier than trying to drag the whole chat down with you. Okay, only 33 minutes left in this contest. Currently, there are a few drinks that are getting exchanged between the referee and the Chilean players, while there is a blood bin that is going on. 4 years is a long time, says Big Rick Joe. Wish the Black Ferns would have won that semi-final, says the What's Up Guys podcast, and I'm sure that they wish that they would have as well. His name wouldn't happen to be Ricardo. I mean, needs to fix his parking fine, says Doc. I mean, Lady Box versus Ireland will be a World Cup, or will be the Women's Rugby World Cup in 2029. That's the thing, the Springbok ladies have come a long way. And I do think that that is hugely beneficial for them. You know, the way that they were able to get through to the quarterfinals, for one, was just absolutely incredible. Beating Italy, I think, was their biggest match. And, you know, hopefully they can keep on going. We have got there, that's what you don't get, says Bad Dog. Once again, just move on. It's easier. Plus, how about we try and keep the comments slightly respectful? You're going to have to be timed out for that, just because you can't really use that sort of derogatory language without some sort of consequence. We have got there, assuming Samoa lose this game, do you think they'll make it past the final repechage against Belgium, Namibia, and possibly Brazil? If not, which team will make it? See, I don't know if Samoa have got it in them to be able to beat those sides. Like, on a given day, you'd say yes. But they just haven't, for me anyway. Like, the thing is, they're not out of this game, though. 47 minutes through, and they are still only down by 11. It was cool to see them in the quarterfinals, but they lack the stamina and squad depth of the Ferns, France, England, and Canada. Says Big Rig now, backline movement here. Oh, Chile, he's just ended up getting a little bit of a awkward fall there. And a drop ball from Ayarza, mistake from Chile, starting to hurt them there. And we have got there, I say they just called the game off because we already know who's going to win. Although last time when Samoa were down by 17, they came back to draw 32-32. They aren't quite down by that same margin, but they are still down by 11. It will not be an easy game to be able to finish if they can't get on the board in the next kind of 5 to 10 minutes of the contest. We have got the England Roses are streets above Canada in the world rankings. 7 points above Canada in the world rankings, if I'm not mistaken. Says Mornay, was that before or after they did play? And the final, Paraguay have to try to get past Brazil. And 2 upcoming qualifiers, says Boulders and Steel. Yeah, see, there's still a bit of work to do for some other sides. And, you know, it is going to be a real challenge. We got their Samoa not at their best again. What's going on with the team as a whole? They just haven't got their team. You know, it is a makeshift side. But then saying that, they are still, I think, capable enough. It's just those handling errors that continue to hurt them throughout these contests, and that ill discipline. It's probably the bigger one. But Peter Anaya Su. Now, going off to the left-hand side. It's going to be very nicely taken. Let's hope the All Blacks can win the World Cup in 2027. And also one aspect of the ladies' games I grew to like is that they get a knackered, tired, feel pain and show it. Then put on the brave face, says Eric. Now pick and go from Samoa again. Looking for the steal. Oh, he's pretty close to getting it, and he does there, the Chilean 9, Benjamin Videla, managing to get that steal. That's going to be the holding on penalty. He's had a great game so far. He's managed to get himself the penalty before the final, Hamish. I don't know what rankings is currently. So I'd assume that England would also get that little bit more of a boost. Although being 7 points ahead means that they can't get a massive amount of extra on that one. I think the box will have something to say about that, says Big Rig. But just keeping low. In the end, actually considering going for the clean out was Olujuwon Noah, but he pulled out of it because of the amount of neck roll penalties that Samoa have had against them in this game. But they just haven't been targeting the right limbs. My workmate is Samoan. I watched my first Samoans movie. The movie's called Sione's Wedding. Says Doc. And now 50 minutes through at the moment. Go Chile. Let's go to the World Cup. And yeah, at the moment they are stepping their way very nicely towards it. 40 metres out. Back across to the right-hand side again for Chile. Does the Rock's Hollywood movies count as Samoan movies? I mean, he is Samoan. Big run down the wing here. This is a good foot race. Passes on the inside. Eliza Peta Alofipo, but a steal from Chile in the breakdown from Ayaza. And that ball's going to be tied up. Told to release there. And it's available for Chile. That is a massive try-saving turnover again from the Chilean team. There are a lot of different reasons why are playing Argentina and England next week. It's a real reason, says Xander. Oh, that's a good clearing kick. Oh, mistake on the sideline, but it was out for Lalangi Vizier anyway. Looks the better team in the second half. I would still argue that Chile have looked like the better team throughout this whole match. But Samoa seem to still have that X factor where if they get that one good move. But Ayaza was phenomenal there on the breakdown. Samoa making about, I'd say, maybe 50 metres or so, and then Ayaza just ripping it off. Are you going to take a trip to Australia for the Kiwi Lads or the World Cup Kiwi Lads? Be great for content? We are not. No, we are going to be covering the games from New Zealand. Couple changes now about to be made for the Chileans. Looks like Ditos making his way on alongside Shea. 28 minutes still left on the clock, and no points have been scored by either of these sides throughout the second half. We have got there. That was a good run. And I went to Chile in 1996. Met good people, says JT. And yeah, that's a fantastic amount of support in the stands at the moment for this Chilean side. They would love nothing more than to see their side through to another World Cup to play. Hit hard. They're a lot more possession ball Samoa in the second half, though I will mention, than the first. It seems like Chile waiting for Samoa to make those mistakes rather than trying to force them. What the heck happened with Colby drop kicking it? Argentina scored. Yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. Some have said that he was trying to pass the ball over to his teammate, but if he was, he did get it very wrong. Being told to use it again. Tupai going to be kicking this ball high, which is a great tactic if they were solid under the high ball. But Samoa, I don't believe, have taken too many cleanly, although getting onto the ball now. Samoa managing to rip it away. Ball's dropped backwards, so that picks up now for the Chileans. Round the halfway line, great low tackle, so much space to be able to run through. But he's going to be caught by the prop. In the end, it was Jared Adams who got in there and managed to force the knock on. It looked like Escobar was in for all money and somehow got caught. If Chile wins, will they play the test that Samoa are scheduled to play in? They will not know. But Samoa will still have to have... Well, I think Samoa have one game, and that's up against the Scottish. I think that's the only match that they've actually got scheduled at the moment, unfortunately. We were good under the high ball yesterday. Says Highlanders fan. And also, are you keen to do the cricket? And you playing cricket this season? I am going to be playing cricket this season. I'm not sure about doing the cricket, just because if I do it once, then I kind of have to keep on doing it, and there will be overlaps. I've got a split screen watching you in the game at the same time. Great crowd. American commentator. Says God's Zone. Yeah, just knocking that one on. Samoa look good now. They seem like they've found that next gear, but it still isn't smooth for them. Obviously, way too many expired products needing retirement. Says Sana, it's actually the complete opposite. All these young players who have no experience who are being expected to play like the veterans. So I would say that that's probably the bigger issue here for the Samoans rather than the other way around. Great crowd they sing into. Says God's Zone. And it's going to be scrum for Samoa, only 10 metres out from their own line. Saavedra in the number 13 jersey will make his way off of the field, and that is going to be for Game. And that's bizarre. Samoa should be able to compete at a high level. But you know, the board for Samoa are corrupt. It's documented they keep the money for themselves. Says Urix. Yeah, and the amount of players that could have played for Samoa that aren't is just such a massive list. I ironically like the Swing Low, Sweet Chariot English Rugby chant. And whose ball says Kings on, so it is going to be Samoa sitting 5 metres, or in fact, 10 metres out from their own try line. I guess says Kiwi Rob. There as well. And what a great crowd, says Jim Fletcher. Yeah, they have well and truly showed up for this game. Penalty, in fact, free kick goes the way of the Samoans. Kobe won't make that kind of mistake again in a hurry. He did score a try, so I forgive him. And the thing is, it probably fired up the team that little bit more. That it got to the point how they just seem to be firing on all cylinders. Oh, what a take that is from the Chilean number 21 there. He could have easily butchered it, but Lucas Berti doing nicely. Where are you watching the game, bro? Watching it on Rugby Pass TV here in New Zealand. Now kicking behind, looking for the 50-22. Ball goes out. That is a great kick from Samoa, and they will finally have a little bit of go forward. Can't wait for the All Blacks versus Ireland or All Blacks versus England. Says Highlanders fan. And that is a very good kick there from the Samoans. Oh, Luke Pearce calling someone over here. Okay, Luke Pearce. Oh, Luke Pearce has just said very strictly to Nicholas Sub. He has said, do not dive and do not try and make things look worse than they are. Yeah, so Sub was looking straight to the touch judge and asking for the penalty, and Luke Pearce says, nah, you're not doing any of that diving here. And Ireland versus the All Blacks in the USA. Says Big Rig there. And now getting ready to throw this ball in here for the Samoans, who have got themselves that 50-22. They got to move over a little bit there. Chile not quite on the mark. Asking for a 2-minute gap, or 2-metre gap, sorry. That looks like about 1 if they're lucky. And it's going to be well taken one-handed from Samoa with a beautiful take. Now throwing himself at the line. It's Jared Adams. The way that he was able to chase down the Chilean line break before, he still seems like he's got plenty of gas left in the tank. And Hamish Samoans leagues are favourites, while Kangaroos in England 3-test series. Says Doc there. Now back across to the left-hand side. Now this step from the youngster Stefani. We've hardly seen him in this game. As it's still Samoa's ball, they do still have the possession. 30 metres out from Chile's line. And attacking for a long time, which will at least tire out this Chilean team who have been defending very, very well throughout the first 56 minutes. Told to get out of there for the Chilean number 17, Shea. Now holding it in one hand there for the collision of Abraham Papali'i. Back across to the right. Talapusi going in behind. Still not making a huge amount of meters each and every time that they carry this ball, Samoa. But eventually the gap has to open up. Alamanda Matunga. Perhaps he could be the man. Does manage to break it through to Pai. Going back across to the left-hand side. Samoa with the skip pass out wide. Holding it once again in one hand. The amount of handling errors that we have seen from Samoa throughout this game. It is a very bold call to be running it like that. Now attack and run from Leawasa. Rough pass, and that is a big collision there. And it was a hospital pass and a half. Massive shot coming in from, I believe it would have been Escobar. And also the match between Argentina and the Springboks will be played at 3 South African time, 1 o'clock New Zealand time. Perfect time for you. It says morning it will actually be 2 p.m. 2 a.m. New Zealand time due to daylight saving happening today. I'm just wondering whether or not Samoa, is this part of a tactic of just trying to wear down this Chilean team with repeated phases, because there wasn't a lot of go forward taking place there. Currently 58 minutes through, still the lead of 11 for the Chileans. Okay, they're just saying there about maybe how a Samoan player was trapping a Chilean player in the breakdown. Handling errors are something I would not have expected in conditions like this. They look more like wet weather stats to me. And 2 tries is what Samoa needs, says Doc. And New Zealand and Argentina will win next week, says Highlanders there. Now just saying there about how maybe the deliberate knockdown could have been the call there. And Talofalava from Brisbane. Hamish says foot patrol as the time only for the 1 week. Says Morne, no, it is for about 6 months here in New Zealand. That daylight saving has changed. So now rather than being 10 hours behind for the South African time, you guys are now 11 hours behind us. But of course, nothing changes for you, but it just changes for us. And that's going to be the penalty for Chile. Scrum coming in on the angle. And 6.85 to the world. Malausos says foot patrol. This game's really struggled to get out of second gear throughout the second half. We've had 19 minutes where no one has scored a single point. And you could almost argue that with the exception of 1 or 2 breaks, we haven't had many opportunities where sides have even looked like scoring a point in this one. Penalty called in that scrum drinking game. Take a shot every time. Says penalty for Chile or penalty against Samoa. And Vamos Chile, says Andres there around the halfway line. Chile now with Diego Escobar. Ready to throw it in again. It's going to be the 4-man line out for the Chileans. We're into the final quarter of the contest. They are in control. Ray Nuia making his way onto the field. And that is going to be for Ane Asu. It's on the chest, so no call of high shot from Luke Pearce. Ball is now available. Rolling this one back. It is the replacement, Lucas Bertie. Let's go up high with that one. Swirling in the breeze. Nicely taken by Samoa again. And another penalty, this time going the way of Samoa. And one World Cup finishes. Another one starts. Go the White Ferns, add the ODI World Cup to your T20 World Cup. Says Godzone. Now kicking it towards the sideline again. Oh, it goes dead. Or does it? No, it's 5 meters out. That looked pretty dead from the angle that we saw, but it's actually going to be a 5-meter line out here for the Samoans. One World Cup finish. I read that one, and also there go Chile, says Christian. And can see Ireland and France maintaining their wins against the Springboks. There's Doc there too, but this is now a very good position on the field for Samoa. They need this rolling maul try if they want any chance of fighting back up against the Chileans. But this is going to feel like deja vu for Chile if they can't secure the end of this game and let the Samoans right back into it. Rolling closer to the try line. They are over and they score. Samoa are now back into this game. They will need a conversion somewhere along the lines, but 18 points to 12. Already a bit of an impact from the men off the bench, and it is the number 20 in this contest, Jonah Ma'u. He does go over and scores it. And let's go, says Robert T. Jonah Ma'u scoring only a few minutes after making his way out onto the field. My bet is F, says Brosh. And come on, Manu, says Rick. And as well, these games feel like Chile feel bad about Samoa and let them back into it. Yeah, it just seems to be that Chile haven't got that clinical finish to the game that they are after, like a big brother letting their little brother win, says Big Rick. And let's go now, Samoa, says Sana. I don't really care. I'm ambivalent. That's a fancy word that I don't even know. But now, chance here for the kick at the post. Dalapusi hooks it away to the left-hand side, so the score will remain with a 6 points difference between these two sides. 18 minutes remaining. Score sitting 18 points to 12. And England looks fresh and raw to the restores. Nice big W on the Springboks, says Doc. Like they have said, Samoa would need a converter try to get back into this contest and take the lead. Although I do have a feeling that they would need two. Because Chile still have something left in their gas tank, whether that's going to be a 3-point if Samoa wins. This will be as big as the win over the Wallabies in 2011. Says Rick, and let's go, says King Zion. Now kicked off, nicely taken by the big man, Abraham Papali'i. Starting to bump out of challenges, but it's ripped away by Chile again. And they may even consider a 3-pointer if they do get the chance here. Big attack and run, but they didn't quite link up. England's 1 hour behind South Africa currently from October. England will be 2 hours behind South Africa. I know what you mean. Says Mornay. Now Chile backline. And look at the shape up. There is the advantage for the Chileans. This will put them back outside of a 7-point margin. Number 7 was offside. Now this is a very crucial kick, and I do believe that Chile will take it. That's 10 p.m. in England, says Big Rig. And they kick in for the post. It looks like that is the plan. How are you watching this? Rugby Pass TV. That's the way I'm watching this game. I need one more try. 3 + 1. 4 tries for Samoa, says Doc. Yeah, Samoa doing well to finally work back within that 7 points, just to then end up giving away a penalty very quickly after to put them back outside. Go like this. And like that as well. Now Chile, this is actually one of the easiest kicks that we have seen for Videla throughout this whole contest. A crucial kick. We'll take it past 7, says Godzone. Will this be the biggest upset if this result stays? Not really. Only because Chile were $1.95 underdogs compared to Samoa's $1.80 favourites. He's got it over. And that is going to make the score now 21 points to 12. Chile taking the control back in this match, and Samoa back to needing a try and something to be able to win it. That's all Chile need, is to tick on the 3-pointers, says Sana. And Samoa can still pull off the victory if they believe in themselves. And let's go, says Brush. And there too. And these two sides having a 32-32 draw. Appreciate the stream. Says Vessi there and Lemanu. I really need to dig deep now. Yeah, they are starting to run a little bit low on the clock. Just need that one big turnover. Would you say it's sad Samoa have fallen so far? I think it is. But then at the same time, if they had their best side, it would be a whole different story for the Samoan team in the Pacific Nations Cup as well as in these qualification games. But I'm very curious if Samoa do somehow qualify, how many of those guys start saying, yeah, I'll play in the World Cup, whereas they weren't willing to put in the effort. Here, Ray Nuia going for a grubber in behind. It's actually a very decent one from the Samoan. Okay, Yaza looking to the short side, trying to get that ball back was Samoa. That's rugby equivalent of the heart of cards. Says a big rig. Let's go. We need another 2 tries, says Doc. Oh. Triple blow of the whistle here from Lopez. I think there might be an injury in the breakdown. What's happening here? They're going to find out here. Why is there a stoppage? Luke Pearce is unsure. Okay, so it sounds like number 16, Ray Nuia, has slapped the face of one of the Chilean players. And let's go Chile, says Maximiliano. And isn't there pressure from the clubs that Samoans can't go and play for their teams? Says James. I think it's also just because it isn't actually financially a great move for some of these guys, unfortunately. Like, they have got the stability of their clubs. What's like, you're watching it on? I am watching it on Rugby Pass TV. Right. Does Ray Nuia slap him? What are we looking for here? Ray Nuia. The breakdown. I mean, there is a clean out. Okay, I'm not actually too sure what they were trying to look for there, but apparently there was a slap, but we didn't see a slap, and Victor probably wasn't available to talk to you today. I don't know, they talked to you, says Morne. They were both busy with different streams, and he backhand slapped Chile player. What a silly Billy, although they showed the replays, and I didn't see too much of it. Is it 21? One moment. There we go. Sorry, my scoreboard was just a little bit behind. Okay, so it's going to be a penalty to Chile. Luke Pearce has pretty much said that Chile started it, but Samoa escalated it. Okay, Samoa there, Ben Nini has actually said there, we don't have to, or we don't want to have to react. So trying to insinuate that Chile did start it. If not, then look it up after this game. I did the sketch parodying the drama show, The Slap. And wait, you didn't say that Chile scored. They did get the 3 points a little while ago. We did mention it. That probably happened about 3 minutes ago. And we did say it at the time that Videla was able to get the extra 3. And that is when Chile were able to get themselves outside of that 7-point margin. Slapped a chicken bird, no way, says Doc. But now will be Chile to be able to kick this one towards the touchline after getting themselves the penalty. Sitting 14 minutes now left on the clock. Do you know why they are doing qualified games this year? Says Karatiane. It is because of the World Cup draw taking place at the end of this year. So I think they want to have all of the teams confirmed rather than having them like as a seated pool and then finding out later on. I don't like the South American team too much. Trying to scrap like we won't roll them, says Broche. In hard case, when you go still, looks like a real string pause, says Nas. Now, taken around the halfway line for Chile. We'll look to get this rolling ball moving. Molele has made his way on. I believe that as most of the bench actually has been empty now for Samoa. Throughout the second half, we have seen the 1 try from the Samoans and the 3 points from the Chileans. That one's still moving, and another penalty advantage against the Samoans now. Another couple quick steps coming in. Do Samoa still have a chance to qualify? If they lose, they will have to go through the repechage. But very hard to tell where they will be at. At that stage, go Chile, go, says Ox. IB trying to refresh, says Nas Williams, but another penalty to Chile. This could add an extra 3 points. And South America showing the passion, says Urix. I think they are calling for the post. Yes, they are being very safe with it off the kicking tee. Santiago Videla. They do the repechage tournament versus Brazil, Belgium, and also Namibia, I believe, are also involved in the repechage. Go Samoa, please, says Chris. And there's a last chance league where they will play Namibia, Brazil, and Paraguay. Is Belgium also in there? Or if they missed out, I think it might be Brazil or Paraguay as one of those spots, and then also Belgium for that European side that miss out. sitting 4 from 5 at the moment for Budella. They already lead this one by the 9 points. This would take them up to 12, which would force 2 converted tries for the Samoans. Please, Amish, everyone keep back in Manu. Says Mark there in time check. At the moment, it is 68 minutes down in this matchup. So Samoa are losing time and Chile are controlling this game. That strike has not gone too nicely. Oh, in fact, it's still gone over. Tell you what, the camera angle is deceptive there. Looked like it was going to miss away to the side, but it does still go over the post. And 24 points to 12 now the score. Probably going to chill with friends after the stream. I am not. I'm going to have about an hour's nap, and then we're going to get back up and got a relatively full day planned. However, they had Zimbabwe qualified for the World Cup. I think they beat Namibia. They certainly did. So, yeah, they have qualified. Oh, just sneaking over. Yeah, it did look like it was shifting away, but then the spin came back. And where can I watch from the US? Someone said Paramount Plus, but don't quote me on that. Currently only 11 minutes remaining in this contest, though. Now, kick downfield from Samoa. That's actually heartbreaking for Samoa. Says Urix and Belgium, Namibia. And then the loser of this, and the loser of Brazil versus Paraguay. And also, I got to want it. I got to show up on the day. You snooze, you lose. And you don't know that Samoa could do a comeback. Says the What's Up Guys podcast. They could, but they're going to have to do it very soon. Because they are currently down by the 12. And also with the ill discipline, they could potentially be down by 15 in the very near future. Oh, trying to get the steal and the breakdown there for Samoa. There is frustration at the moment. Coming from the fullback, trying everything he can there for Jonah Mahu to get the steal. I'll kick downfield again from Chile. Not on Paramount Plus. Thanks, man. Keep up the good work. There's Alejandro. Is it on ESPN? I know that they've got the ESPN little logo down the bottom of the screen, so perhaps that is another option. Being able to watch the first World Cup. And how long for Samoa? They haven't played in one for ages. Although it's still that last chance, like I said. But it's going to be a shame that Samoa or Namibia are not going to be at that next World Cup. And it's going to be a bit of a tough one for those two sides in terms of what to do from there. Now kicking it high. Samoa chasing after it, nicely taken by Ayarza, who is tackled down low. And the offloading game of Chile has been so impressive throughout this match. Now attack and run towards the halfway line. Little snipe and kick him behind, looking for the 50-22. Samoa having to retreat. We've got Chile from Ox and there as well. Ayarza again will run it forward up to 71 minutes. Chipped it. Awkward. Oh, what a bounce that is. In fact, I thought it was going to be an awkward one, but it actually sits up perfectly for him. Now kicked him behind due to no fullback for the Chileans. They will be back inside of their own 22. It looks like it's actually the big man, Abraham Papali'i, who was chasing after him. He was the only man who put in a bit of effort there from Samoa. The rest just waiting, and now the loose ball or open space for Chile. That was a forward pass to Ayarza, and that one's going to go into touch. It's the Samoa's last chance. They still have the repechage around the corner. But yeah, you're pretty much playing a lottery if you go into that repechage because it is a short tournament and you just have to hope for the best. Now, for that tournament, we may see Samoa get some reinforcements, potentially from other comps, depending on when the games are taking place, but that's going to be tough. We see a whole heap of Chilean flags in the stands. The crowd just know how much and how close they are to making it to that next Rugby World Cup for back-to-back times. Meanwhile, Tonga chillin'. Says Broshin there. And what's that mean? Says Urix. What's what mean? The repechage? Is that the question? The repechage. So pretty much it is the last chance for the teams who have already failed to qualify to have one last shot. So it will be 4 sides, and there's kind of like a mini tournament. Bit similar to what we saw for the Pacific Nations Cup, but it is actually just modified into a qualification tournament. Now, another run from Samoa with Leavasa. Still seems like they've got a little bit in the tank, but it has to be running close to empty now. Now, come on, Samoa, says Johnny Blaze. Now kicked him behind, carried in, so no 50-22. Samoa trying to play that kicking game, but that is because they haven't been able to make any meters in the regular just running of the ball. It is a goal line dropout now for Chile. Time check says Brosh at the moment it is 73 minutes down in this contest. So it's ticking on closer and closer to that full time siren. I almost forgot. What did your parents think of the buzz cut? They didn't mind it too much. The thing is, I had short hair when I was younger. Not quite as short as the buzz cut, but like relatively short. So they were kind of used to it. And let's go, says Brush in there too. Couple more changes happening now. Chile says Ox. Oh, looks like another change is about to be made as well. It might be in the locking duo. Yes, it is. It's Iceman making his way off. Haven't seen a huge amount of that man, but it normally means that he's just been going about his work, doing his job. Now down to the halfway line, awkward bounce, and Samoa trying to deal with it, but they are in retreat mode here. They look to run it back towards the Chilean defensive line. How do we look at there? Samoa need a miracle at this point, says Big Rig. Now another step from, there will be Tamasi Alosio. Chile want the steal and the breakdown. They all but got it. As the repechage one of the one-off games, or is it like a league table where whoever finishes top wins? Is it semi-final then final? It might be semi-final then final. Potentially. Unless it is you play everyone and then the top two play each other perhaps. Or maybe it's just you play everyone and whoever's the highest ranked goes through. I haven't actually read into it too much, mainly because I didn't expect to see the Samoans in that scenario of having to try and qualify through the repechage. But now backline movement again, pass it on the outside. 40 metres out from their own line, and the ball stripped again by Chile. Boy, have they been on fire from those loose carries. A repechage is a round robin only tournament. Okay, so you play everyone, and then from there, whoever's top goes through. And thanks to Nigeria, own goals. It could have been 1-0 to Nigeria. And Chile now know that that is probably the big moment that will win them this game. And the crowd, they are sensing it as well as we tick over to the 75-minute mark now. Chile still leading by the 12. They are closing in on another Rugby World Cup. Need to bring out Jacob Fatu to lay out the Chileans. And now, they will use up as many seconds as they can, the Cóndores. One was ripped away, possibly from a grounded opponent, you could argue, but it will still go the way of the Chileans. Samoa need to call up some better players to make sure they qualify for the next 40. Yeah, I think they have to call in the reinforcements. Because if they don't, I don't see them winning that rugby competition. I can see them getting beaten by someone like a Namibia or maybe even, Belgium. They are a decent side in Europe, and at the moment, Samoa are not playing well. Big scrum push there. Samoa win the penalty. 4.5 minutes remaining. They just have to empty the gas tank now. They're looking for the ball. I got all my predictions right, but Edinburgh and Leinster in the URC predictor. And Samoa bringing Ross Taylor, and Belgium and the World Cup feels weird, says Big Rig. This is the worst Samoan squad in their history. See, history's a long time, but it's honestly the way that they've been performing throughout the last few weeks, it wouldn't be a mile off, which sounds brutal, but it has to be true. And Samoan third team should be good enough. Says Rick there. Another change being made. This is going to be Ernesto Chimino making his way on. How close are they to the line? They will be 22 metres out from the Chilean try line with 4 minutes remaining. Looks like another change here for Samoa. This time it is going to be Tapai making his way off. And that is for Susu. And a World Cup new format is cool as, says Brosh. They can form a We Used to Be Good club with Wales. And I played in Belgium, says Shane in there. And Samoa eating ass as always, says Shigan there. Now line out throw. 4 minutes left. Samoa slapping it onto their side. Good hands. And now big driving tackle again from the Chileans. You'd almost have to argue that Chile have been the more physical side out of these two teams. Back across to the right. Still 30 metres from the try line. Still theoretically time left to qualify. Backline movement here for Samoa. But again, Chile's defence has been world class throughout this match. This is such a poor Samoan side, says T-Mac. Well, Samoa going to play next. They will be in the repechage up against Belgium, up against Paraguay or Brazil, and then also Namibia. Has the ref been good? He's been strict. And I don't think that either side have really adapted to him perfectly. I think that Samoa have spent a lot longer trying to adapt. Off to the right. I'll pop it in behind. Again, just running straight sideways rather than forwards here, Samoa, which means that they are never really making a huge amount of those meters. I can name at least 6 to 8 Samoan props not there. Now, man, don't discredit Chile like that. Credit where credit is due. Another Samoa not good, says Yurik. Yeah, I have mentioned multiple times throughout this game how strong this Chilean team have been. But it is also very easy to say that Samoa given away the 10 penalties throughout this contest and their handling errors has affected the result a little bit. It affected the first game. As we did see the Chileans, they were a lot more clinical in that match than they have been in the second. Now breaking the line again for Samoa. Off to the right-hand side, Langi Vizinia. And 2-man tackle from Chile. Once again, almost get the steal and the breakdown. Then they've done just that. Now another break of the line for the Chileans. Los Cóndores going on the outside. This could be the breakaway that they need. All they need is that pass. It was backwards and a step there. Running towards the try line and scoring it between the posts. Nicholas books the Chileans the flight to Australia for the Rugby World Cup. And Namibia will most likely lose to Samoa, but beat Belgium, I think. Says Jimmy there. And if the reinforcements didn't play this time, why would they play come November? Says Gregory. And I was aware that in Belgium beat Canada, says Shane. A little while ago, I think they did manage to get themselves a win. What a performance. Says Yurik there. Yeah, Chile in front of the home crowd have made 29,000 Chileans very happy by booking themselves a spot through to the next round. And Chile showed more passion for rugby. Just like the great Samish, says Doc, and Samoa down to 14th, says Kiwi Rob. Yeah, this one will hurt them too, because if the Chileans get this kick over, it is the bigger drop because of 16 plus. I think you should stop the stream now, because we know who's going to win. Says the WhatsApp guys. Well, there's 1 minute remaining in the matchup, so we will stick around, of course, till the full-time whistle. 79 minutes through, straight out in front of the post. This should be a nice, easy one for Chile. They will look to use up as many seconds as they can. 20 seconds remaining of the shot clock. He decides to kick it over. Belgium are ranked above 3 teams at the next World Cup. They are ranked 22nd. And beautiful score from Chile on Team Samoa, but I'm proud to lose to Chile, says Chagan there. And they have just thoroughly deserved it. You know, they have been the stronger across both of their games. Samoa, they had a good last 20 minutes up against the Chileans in the last match. But had they not done that, they could have been looking at losing these 2 matches by a margin of around 40 in terms of that differential. So much for the Big Islanders. We'll roll through game theory. And also we have got there, welcome to the World Cup, Chile. I will correct you. Welcome back to the World Cup. They were there in 2023, and they want to make more of a statement in 2027 for this Australian competition. Losing my voice right at the last moment. But now kicking that one into touch. Chile have qualified. And Samoa head to the repechage. And we have got there Chile back-to-back. Says Kiwi Rob out of Chile score. They scored multiple times in this game. It was not just a one-off occurrence. And a great full crowd attendance. And there as well. But that is going to be full time on the clock, ladies and gents. We have got there 31 points to 12. Are you sick? I'm not sick. It's just the fact that we've done around 11 hours of commentary throughout the last about 14 hours. So that's kind of hit the vocal cords just a little bit. Samoa went down to 15th in the world. Yeah, because of that 16 points difference or more does actually drop them even further. Thanks for the stream, bro. Love your work. Much love. Says Broach there. And good luck to Samoa for the repechage. Says Boulders and Steel. Will this be Samoa's worst result in their history? I don't know about worst result in all of history, but it's certainly not a good day for the Samoans. That is for sure. And this is the worst Manu Samoa team ever. Says Falifatu. And I think Samoa just wanted a free trip to Dubai. Says Robert D. A pretty interesting match this one. And get a feed and sleep. Says Yurix. And there as well. But nonetheless, full time. 31 points to 12. Chile say 20th. It's pretty rough, isn't it? The fact that Chile don't actually go up in the rankings and they stay where they are after a big win over the Samoan team. Congrats, Red Roses. New Zealand and Chile. Says Big Rig there and 4 big wins. I blame Aussie League, killing Islander Rugby, says Fleshin. So you're blaming the Aussie League. Are you still blaming New Zealand, like, rugby as well, though? Or just the one? And come on, Sir Michael Jones, have a hard word. Our best player as possible for next game, says Nars Williams. And it was domination throughout the match. Yeah, it never looked like, with the exception of about the first 10 minutes of the second half, it never looked like Samoa were actually going to get enough go forward to win themselves this game. Chile's defense was like a brick wall throughout this matchup, and they were just not leaking those easy line breaks like we saw late in the game last week. So they did learn a lot from facing up against the Samoans. And now, you can see the frustration on the faces of the coaches as they are now going to have to go back to that drawing board. We have got there, you're going to stream Bunnings FBC quarterfinal next week. I am hoping to do some games. It all depends on the overlaps, though. It's total domination throughout the match. And Chile beat the US in last qualifying, and now Samoa says AAA. But yeah, nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We will be back next weekend with plenty more rugby. Samoa Rugby isn't bad stuff because of the people in the union management and Apia. Says Samoa there. And remember, Chile beat us in the last qualifier. Says AAA. And as well, the penalty count was an issue, just too high, really. It was. And also the handling from Samoa was very poor, to say the least. And we have got the Rugby Championship ends next week. Says a big rig. Yeah, a big round coming up for that as well. Yeah, nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you all for the next one.